boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.
So, like, I've not really spoke to Usyk since the fight, but yeah, I know he's said some stuff, like, not negative stuff, like good stuff, like he wouldn't mind a third fight. Obviously, it's a big payday for him, isn't it? Yeah. And for me also, but it's just like, for me now, what's the point? Like, if you give me another 100 million, what am I going to do with it? Like, it's not going to affect my life at all. It won't affect my kids' life. It won't affect their kids' life. It just make them fucking spoiled brats and make them shit people. There's no actual reason for me to go back in the boxing ring. 37-year-old, I've been punched to fuck for the last 25 years. What do I want to go back boxing for? Yeah. It used to be for the money, the titles, all that shit. But now I've got more money than I can spend. I've got unlimited amounts of fucking belts and titles. And does it make me any happier? No. Was the chase better than the victory? Yes. The climb was better than the fucking mountain peak, to be fair. You know what I mean?
Again we start. Let me say my part.
See, what Fury's saying there is conflicting from what Frank Warren is saying. Frank Warren has been saying that he is going to come back in 2026, but he won't commit to saying AJ will at least be a possible opponent. They won't commit to that. It's hard to read Tyson Fury. The way he talks shit and backtracks on what he says, it's like... If he does come back, he's only going to take the Usyk fight. In my opinion, the odds are is AJ chins him if they do fight. Fury can't punch like Dubois. You can talk about his skills, and you can say it's not about triangle theories, but AJ's knockout and result ratio are common opponents, and there's about 7 opponents. Kingpin, Vlad, Otto Wallin, Francis, etc. You can clearly see who's the better offensive fighter. Clearly. I don't really give a shit what nobody says. I think AJ beats Fury. Bring the receipt where Tyson Fury spoke about a sparring session that left such an impression on him, like when he sparred AJ. Bring the receipt.
And I went down to Finchley Boxing Club.
Okay.
And I sparred with the ABA champion.
Oh, Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, he's red hot, him. He's very good.
See, that's what I like about you, Tyson. You're only young, but you're so honest. You're 22 years of age. You sparred with this young kid, Joshua. He's a good prospect, isn't he?
Oh, he's very good. To be honest with you, yeah.
Yep.
I thought to myself, I'm only going to take it easy because he's only an amateur and he probably won't spar again if I go mad, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
He's rushed out at me. He threw a 1-2 left hook and a slip and slide. And I thought, oh, he's not that good, I'm going to take me time. Bash hit me a big uppercut right in the point of the chin. If I'd have had a bit of a weak chin like David Price, I'd have been knocked out for a month. I tell you what he is, though, he's very, very, very good. He's only young, 20. Watch out for that name, Joshua. He is one prospect. I'm a good prospect, yeah. I rate myself as one of the top heavyweights in the world,
Ditto.
Yeah? He came out at me for 3 rounds, and he gave me a beating. I'm not going to deny it. He gave me what for? Hell for leather for 3 rounds. I thought, oh my God, the amateur's killing me. But being a professional, and I've been an amateur myself, and I fought all over the world and that.
Yep.
I slowed him down a bit, a few good body shots and that.
Yep.
And the kid's only 20, and I'm a handful myself.
You are, son.
So, for him to put up a good performance like that against a top prospect in me, I think he's one for the future, to be honest. Brilliant. But sparring ain't fighting, and fighting with an head guard on is not professional boxing.
Yeah, and 3 rounds ain't the fight these days for you, is it?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But I would say he's the best amateur boxer in this country, super heavyweight, by a mile.
He don't want to fight AJ. He's only lost to one man, and that's Usyk. And he wants to keep it like that. And I don't blame him. His fans certainly don't want to fight. They don't want to fight.
They don't want it. They don't want it.
They say stupid shit like AJ doesn't deserve a fight with Fury. I didn't realize Tyson was a world champion and that anybody had to deserve to fight him. The facts are, it's at 100,000 Wembley Gate with record purses for both of them because Turkey wants that fight. But Serhii Lapine, Team Usyk, did commit to the winner out of Wardley, and Parker will likely face Usyk.
And the prize is there for the winner. The winner gets to fight Mr. Usyk. He gets to fight him for the WBO belt and the other 3 belts. And Mr. Usyk has said that he will take that fight early next year. So that is the prize. It's all or nothing.
So that could push Tyson Fury out of the runnings. And it's a fight Turkey will back. Because if Turkey isn't involved in Usyk's fights, the fights won't happen. There's no one who can match Usyk's purse demands except Turkey. If Turkey is not backing the winner out of Wardley and Parker, the winner will likely end up fighting for a vacant strap. So I'm hoping Usyk's man Lapine is good to his word and he does fight the winner of Parker versus Wardley. And then we'll see how Greedy Belly turns down that money that Turkey is going to be offering him to fight Anthony Joshua.
I'm still dismissive of him. Styles make fights, and my style for him is kryptonite. You know,
I've always said AJ's built to measure for me, and just because he knocked out that guy with a right hand, it's not the same. Boxing's different, you know. Styles make fights. We've seen he couldn't land any of those right hands on Usyk. A way smaller man, a lighter man. Boxing is a very difficult game. It's changing all the time. Styles make fights, and his style is made for me. When I've got through with a rabbit, then we go down for AJ.
So that was shortly after AJ took out Ngannou, and shortly before Fury lost for the second time against the rabbit. So he's walking around saying he was robbed in both fights, Fury. And we still haven't got the AJ fight, which he said he was going to take care of after he takes care of the rabbit. But he couldn't take care of the rabbit, and he hasn't took care of AJ. Just stumbling around his words, trying to avoid AJ. But it's not AJ who's avoiding the fight. There's bragging rights to be fought over, and he's ducking the smoke. If Styles make fights, fight AJ. And put the bodybuilder in his place.
Well, a big shot and can't defend that.
So he's retracted what he said about coming back. Basically, because he knows he's not getting the Usyk fight. And if he talks about fighting in 2026, everybody's going to ask for the AJ fight.
They don't want it.
Now, Fury's got to retire. Them Wilder wins have not appreciated since Wilder got thumped out by Zhang and whooped by Joseph Parker. Let's keep it real. Tyson is not as good as his fan base and certain members of the media say he is. He's not as good. Nowhere near.
Boxing
Beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you waiting to see who he fights next? Yeah. I don't know, man. When I look at his resume, it looks funny in the light. Let's just start with this. Who did he beat? Because that matters in sports. Who did he beat? Yeah. And when I look at it, okay, he beat Klitschko, who was really, really, really good and well respected. The brother was 41 years old. Mm-hmm. So then Usyk shows up, right? Okay, yep. We know how that went. Since I've been watching boxing, I've been watching for a long time, been a super fan. You
never gave you that feeling.
You see it in all the fights. I've never had a moment where I say, you know what, wow, Anthony Joshua is the man in boxing. I've never felt that.
Your athlete eyeball test says no, and then you put the analyst cap on, and you look and you say no.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's shade. I agree.
Because I don't give a lot of shade. I give the truth.
Could have also called that throwing shade, because maybe you threw a little shade.
Vlad was 41 when he fought AJ, 39 when he fought Fury. His brother, Vitaly, WBC champion, retired at 42. Let's not forget, Wilder was around as a contender when Vitaly was champion and never attempted to fight Vitaly. He waited for the 36-year-old Berman Stavern to become champion, then challenged and won the title. Was Berman a spring chicken, if they're going to make this an age argument? In that same year, Shelley Finkel, who had managerial ties to Vladimir Klitschko, said Wilder is still a baby. He's not going to match Wilder with Vladimir Klitschko to fight for undisputed. A 39-year-old Vlad. Heavyweights stay around longer than fighters in the lower weight classes. A little knowledge of boxing will make these discussions a little less ignorant. Here's the thing though, 2025, Crawford and Usyk are arguably pound for pound the top two fighters in the sport. Crawford is 38, Alexander Usyk is 39. And the way Chad, whoever he is, said that Usyk beat Joshua, and we know how that went. He was speaking like Usyk is just some also ran. But then again, apparently I hear that Kellerman threw a little shade on Usyk recently. He says his resume is a little thin compared to the likes of Evander Holyfield and Muhammad Ali and other greats. And let's keep it a buck, he means American heavyweights. He ain't talking about the Klitschkos. The Americans didn't like the Klitschkos. Bert Sugar led the hate campaign against the Klitschkos.
World famous Bert Sugar. All right, Bert, what's your opinions on the Klitschko brothers, and what will it take to bring more news into heavyweight boxing?
Well, first of all, Americans are almost obsessed with heavyweights. We love big things, big cars, big bank accounts, big-chested women, and big fighters in America, as opposed to the rest of the world. And what we're watching is total lack of interest in the heavyweight division. And the problem is the Klitschkos. They might be dominating, but they're bored. They just want to control the fight. Action is second. They don't put themselves into trouble. They don't take chances. To them, it's a chess game. And you get fights like David Hay and Klitschko. All I know is my foot fell asleep in the 7th round and I followed suit in the 8th.
They stopped airing their fights on the major networks for a while. Ironically, this was in a period where America weren't producing the great heavyweights like Holyfield or Ali, Tyson. They weren't producing these type of fighters. So if they don't rate Usyk, the Klitschkos, yeah, then more than likely they're not going to rate AJ. Vlad's best fight was probably against AJ when he was 41. The biggest misconception in boxing is that Vitaly, Vlad's brother, was boring. Now you can aim that at Vladimir. We don't have to go there if you know boxing. But Vitaly Klitschko boring?
I don't think so, homie. Don't play
That. Corey Sanders, Lennox Lewis, Danny Williams? Vitaly tried to take your head off in there. Is it a European bias thing? Or is it that Usyk's never fought in America? Of course, Vitaly and Vlad did fight in America. Vitaly had the classic against Lennox Lewis in America. Didn't make any difference. They said they were boring, uninteresting. In one of my uploads, I covered the story that a lot of people were talking about, and I think it was mostly European boxing fans, about the exclusion of Sumbu Kalambe, former WBA middleweight champion, being excluded in Canastota. I mean, I'm not going to mention the names they put in there, but they're American fighters mainly. Are you thinking, how did they get in there and Sumbu Kalambe don't get in there? And look, most Americans probably remember AJ getting beaten at the MSG by Andy Ruiz in a massive upset, in all fairness. But he was a two-time unified champion. Wilder never unified a strap. I've never heard Max or any guests he's had throw shade at Wilder's resume or accomplishments. Yeah, I think there is a bias there. A lot of people are hip to the bias as well. And not just outsiders, but Americans. There's a lot of Americans who are hip to the bias. The stuff they say about Inoue. He needs to fight in America more so he can be ped tested, and they're not impressed with the gates he does over there. And they used to say the same thing about AJ's fight. We don't care if he can sell out soccer stadiums, he ain't shit, and this and that. Back to Usyk. Maybe Max needs to see more numbers on Usyk's heavyweight resume. But Wilder's got a lot of numbers, but who did he really beat? Vlad's got a lot of numbers, but they didn't like Vlad. And he had 3 straps. The only reason he didn't fight for Undisputed because his brother had the other strap. And of course, Shelley said Wilder was still a baby. He can't fight Vlad for Undisputed. Comparing him to Muhammad Ali is unfair. Usyk would probably say he's not as good as Ali. And the heavyweight resume alone, I'd actually argue that it wouldn't stand up amongst Muhammad Ali, Big George, Jack Johnson, Sonny Liston, Larry Holmes, Joe Louis, Lennox. Go look at Lennox's resume and all the names he beat in America. And they hated on Lennox. A lot of them tried to deny it today, but they hated on Lennox. But here's the thing, even a lot of them fighters, right, who are celebrated and heralded as great heavyweight champions, I could mention heavyweights who never got near a title shot, who hardcore historians would tell you would probably whoop all of them guys. But I'm not going to go into that because it's going to get too technical. I'm not going to do all that so I can get shitty numbers on the video because people don't want to hear all that. I'll do it on a hangout or something like that. So to me, if Max don't rate Usyk or he's not Hall of Fame worthy as a heavyweight, I don't really care. I think AJ done a lot to develop the sport. I think he brought the heavyweight game back around 2016, 2017. But he's not an all-time top 10 great heavyweight. No, he's not. And I'm not sure if Usyk is either. But if I put it all together for Usyk, Olympic gold medalist, cruiserweight, undisputed champion, 2-time unified heavyweight champion, definitely all-time great. I don't know where I list him. I think them lists are very subjective and a little self-indulgent, perhaps.
A lot of discussion at the minute on Inside the Ring, which is available on DAZN, one of the new platforms in collaboration with Ring Magazine, and they've been discussing about Anthony Joshua and if he will be a Hall of Famer when he hangs up the gloves. Shady McCoy, an ex-NFL player who's on the panel, keeps saying Anthony Joshua's not a Hall of Famer. Me, as a British boxing fan, when Fury and
he's a 2-time world champion, isn't he?
Yeah,
2-time world champion. Yeah, I mean, you know, why wouldn't he be a Hall of Famer?
To me, I see Fury and AJ as definite Hall of Famers.
Quite shocked Frank was so frank about AJ being a Hall of Famer. And he said, yeah, why wouldn't he? 2-time heavyweight champion, truckload of defenses, beat a lot of unbeaten fighters, a lot of mandatories, put the heavyweight division back on the map. I think it's a fair debate that he should get in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I do. I mean, when people were arguing the case against AJ and the popularity of Usyk, etc., they were bringing in names like Michael Dokes. And I used to love watching Michael Dokes, former WBA champion. How much defenses of that belt did he make? He beat Mike Weaver, drew with Weaver in the rematch, and then lost to Jerry Cortzia. So there is some American bias there, and maybe they just see their old school fight scene with rose-coloured spectacles, and everyone outside that is just not in the conversation.
Boxing. Beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.
David Hay said to Oscar earlier on in the week that he believes Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora will have a third fight together.
I've never spoke to David Hay about it.
Yeah, I was wondering, because obviously David used to work with Derek. I wondered maybe...
I don't know, you better ask them to.
No? We also hear that Derek Chisora could be fighting Jarrell Miller. That could be announced.
That's not happening. I wish it was happening. We had it all agreed.
Okay.
Spencer, just a few things away from this. As I understood it, you guys were in advanced talks for Chisora against Miller, but it sounds like, according to David Hay, that it's going to be Whyte Chisora 3. What can you tell us?
David Hay obviously knows more than me. I don't want to watch that fight. I'm not too sure. But after what happened with Dillian last time, I don't know. Maybe there is a taste for it, but we signed the contract. We've done everything we were asked to do. I'm really upset about it. Got camp sorted, you know, but he enrolled in VADA immediately, done all his testing. And we're just waiting for Derek to sign the contract. Obviously, he didn't. I mean, when I saw Derek last time, he said he was going to knock him out in round 1. And now he doesn't even want the fight. I'm lost for words, really.
So it's confirmed there's no way Derek can wriggle out. Frank said it was all agreed. Frank wanted the fight to go ahead. Spencer said it was all signed up to go. Jarrell Miller done all his VADA tests, set up training camp. Then Derek had a change of heart.
I had a change of heart.
And the reason Frank hasn't announced this December date for Derek's last fight is he's wondering how he's going to go about explaining to everybody that Derek is fighting Dillian. And depending on what Frank has to pay Derek and his opponent, he's got to consider telling us that he's putting it on pay-per-view. Dillian versus Derek on pay-per-view? It's not going to go down very well.
Nah, man, I ain't buying it.
And that's what a lot of people are going to be saying. David Hay was telling the truth. That seems pretty obvious, that Derek told him that he's going to be fighting Dillian. But Derek at 41, he's on a decent run of form. But there's a lot of wear and tear on the clock. Probably doesn't believe he can hold off Jarrell Miller. And maybe it's his last fight, he wants an easier touch. And Dillian, looking at his last performance against Atoma, could be that easier touch. Derek could argue that he's 2 down against Dillian, and he wants to get 1 back. But I think Derek needs to come out and explain Wagwan.
Duck alert, duck alert, duck alert, the alarm.
Do me a favour.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Atuma in Saudi, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out.
There's no alibi Derek can come up with. We know he's been ducking the smoke, in particular for his last fight. I tell you what, Frank is struggling with that roster of heavyweights right now. It's now becoming an embarrassment of riches. Let's keep it real. Tyson Fury ain't fighting unless you can get the Usyk fight. He doesn't want to fight AJ because you know he's going to get sparked. Derek wants to fight Dillian. Now he's leasing out Lawrence and David Adilier to Nigeria. Big up Bass the Kid. Sub Bass's channel, yeah? Bass voiced his disapproval at the undercard of Wardley versus Parker. This is a £25 pay-per-view. And if I didn't pay for that motherfucker yesterday, if I'd saw what Bass posted up on Twitter, I would have took a longer look at what I was doing. Bass says, okay, I've decided I won't be doing a watch along or buying that fight on the weekend. I really can't support paying £25 for such a lackluster undercard, coupled with a good main event. That's not box office worthy by itself. I wish everyone the best though. This came up, Steve Kim. I have a question. As serious as cancer. Who can keep the average dancer? Hyper the heart attack, nobody smiling, because you're expressing the rhyme that I'm styling. Nice quote, Steve, nice quote. But look, he's asking who's buying the Parker Woodley DAZN pay-per-view this Saturday. That's across the pond. It's a good heavyweight matchup, no doubt. But what is the point of having DAZN if you can't even get this as part of your monthly subscription? Everybody seemed to be in agreement. So is Saturday's undercard really that bad? Who is Hergen versus Rolly Lambert, IBO World Cruiserweight title? I know Ezra Taylor, I know Steed Woodall. That's a light heavyweight contest. That could be a decent fight, but Ezra is still not amongst the top echelon of British light heavyweights. And Steed Woodall is a career 168 pounder, really, isn't he? Moving up. Mitchell Smith. Don't know much about Mitchell Smith. I know the name, but I don't know much. Arnie Dawson, WBO European title. Danny Quatermain against Royston Barney Smith. They're saying it's a step up for Royston. It should be a decent fight. Someone named Tony Curtis on the bill, fighting an opponent with a losing record. Enough said, yeah? Enough said. A piss poor undercard for 25 quid, Frank. It's a rip-off.
Do me a favour.
And this is what I'm telling you guys right now. What you're seeing here is a real British boxing card. A real British boxing card. What do I mean by that? This is a real British boxing card without Turkey overpaying for fights that we wouldn't normally have without his cash injection. I mean, this is what a British card with Saudi input looks like. Now, for those outside of the territory, it might be not that impressive, but you've got Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn, the rematch. You've got Adam Azim, one of the top British boxing prospects, fights for Boxer, 13-0, against Zal Abdulev, who is fringe world class. You've got Jack Catterall, fringe world class, 31-2-0, against Echo Esserman, Frank's fighter, a Queensbury fighter, coming off the biggest win of his career last time out against Josh Taylor. Sam Gilly versus Ishmael Davis is a decent matchup. Richard Riakporhe versus Tommy Welsh, 16-0, son of Scott Welsh. The other fight, I don't know too much about. Now, like I say, some of you might not be impressed by the undercard, but let me tell you, the undercard for Eubank and Ben costs a lot more to put on than that shower that Frank has there. And that's no disrespect to Ezra Taylor. I like Ezra. But I'm planning to go live for Wardley versus Parker. And there's not even a warm-up fight that I can get into to get into the main event. And right now, we are going through pay-per-view fatigue. I'm looking out for my next DAZN bill. How much they're going to charge me with this new subscription plan they've got in hand to cover all the pay-per-views, and see how much that's going to cost me. Pay-per-view fatigue, no doubt. I don't mind paying for Yard versus Benavides. That's a good card, but Turkey said that was supposed to be on the ass. It's part of the subscription. Now we're paying for that. And across the pond, I heard the boxing voice say they're not paying for Yard versus Benavides because Turkey went back on his word. And also, $60 is not the equivalent of £25 like what we pay over here. And they're not happy about that. And I don't blame them. Now, I'm paid up already for tomorrow, but it looks like the fire sticks are going to come out tomorrow for a lot of people. And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.